So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a few problems from last night's homework, and I'm going to teach you a new technique to factor these. Okay, it's a little trick. Now, I do like the factor by grouping. I know it's a lot longer, but for some reason, that method becomes more permanent in your brain. Now, the problem with these tricks, and there's a bunch of them out there, sometimes you forget the steps of the trick. But I'm going to go ahead and show you this one. This is a newer trick that I've just learned, and it works every time. It's going to work for every problem. So the first problem I'm going to work out is going to be number 2. I'm going to put this up here in the corner. So for number 2, I'm going to write the problem out here. 4x squared plus 16x plus 15. Now, the process for this other technique or this trick is still the same for the beginning step. You still have to multiply the beginning and the end, so the 4 times 15, and we need to find what that answer is. So 4 times 15 is 60. So I'm still looking for the factors of 60, two numbers that will multiply to give me the 60, but the same two numbers that when I add them, I get 16. So again, you can start your list. One thing that I like to do is, anybody know what the factors are before I even do it here? Jamie?
6 and 10.
6 and 10. Now, instead of making that organized list, watch what you can do with the two numbers that you just multiplied. Start with a factor tree. Notice how this is 2 times 2 and 3 times 5. If you take a combination of these numbers, notice the 2 times 3 and the 2 times 10, that just gave me my two numbers that I needed. So this trick usually will work to help you find the factors a little bit faster. All right, however, that's not really the trick I wanted to point out to you. The trick I wanted to show you is how to factor this after you find the numbers. So now, the next step, what we learned yesterday, was to rewrite everything except for the 16x. What's different today is I'm going to start and form my two binomials. In my binomials, I'm going to take this term and I'm going to put 4x right here. No square, just 4x. Then next to that 4x, I'm going to write these two terms that I just found. I'm not going to put x's with them. I'm just going to put the numbers. It doesn't matter the order you put them in there because both of them are going with 4x. Doesn't matter if you put the 10 first or the 6 first. Everybody with me so far? Okay, now what we're going to do is simplify this thing. What could I divide them both by to make them smaller? 2. So I'm going to divide the 4 by a 2 and the 6 by a 2. And then my answer here is 4 divided by 2 is 2x. 6 divided by 2 is 3x. Now, I'm not trying to make them the same like I'm doing with factor by grouping. What can I divide this one by? Same thing, 2. It's not always going to be this way. Sometimes one of the binomials won't need to be simplified. So then I simplify this one, and it's 2x plus 5. And you're done. That's it. I'm going to do another one, and I'm going to take the problems off the page. You guys already have them. The next one I'm going to do from that worksheet is number 7. And number 7 is 4x squared minus 33x plus 8. My process at the beginning is still the same. I'm multiplying the beginning and the end. I'm looking for the factors of 32 that are going to give me negative 33. Okay? No, on this one, the signs are the same. They're both going to be negative, negative. So here, I'm actually going to do negative 1 times negative 32. because negative 1 plus negative 32 gives me negative 33. Everybody with me so far? Okay, now I set up my binomials. Again, this first term goes right here. And then put the two numbers that you just found. So I'll put a -1 here and a -32 here. Now we're going to take a look at our binomial here. Can I divide anything into these to make it smaller? No, right? The GCF here is 1. So this one's done. You just rewrite it. This one, on the other hand, I can make smaller. What can I divide them both by? 4. So then the answer to the division, x minus 8. And you're done. Okay, so again, still, you should FOIL this and make sure it goes back. So 4x times x is 4x squared, negative 32 when I do the outer, negative 1 when I do the inner, and positive 8 when I do the last. So 4x squared minus 33x plus 8. It did go back to the beginning. We did it correctly. Okay, on Wednesday's quiz, there's only 10 questions. So I highly recommend that after you finish the quiz, that you go back and FOIL all your answers. Okay, it's going to save your signs. Okay, let's try another example. Next one. Yes?
The quiz, will there be questions where you have to fact check and give?
Yes, you will have to do those. All right, let's try another example. The next one you guys wanted to see was number 9. So number 9, 6x squared minus 25x plus 25. Again, you're still multiplying the beginning and the end. So I'm looking for the factors of 150. Okay, whenever I multiply something by 25, I think of money, I think of quarters, and I know 6 quarters is $1.50. So now I'm trying to find the factors of 150 that give me 25. I'm going to sort of just do the factor tree to speed things up. So I'm going to do 2 times 3 and 5 times 5. And then if I sort of try to make some combinations here, if I do 3 times 5, that would be 15. And 2 times that, that's going to give me 10. And that's going to be my answer. Negative 10, negative 15. Because negative negative gives me the positive 150. So I'm going to rewrite 6x with either the 10 or the 15. It doesn't matter because they're both going with 6x. Now I got to try to simplify. I can actually divide the first one both by 2 and get 3x minus 5. Divide both of these by 3. And I get 2x minus 5. If I FOIL it, it goes back. And then you'll add them. So 6x squared minus 25x plus 25. So it did go back. It works out. So the answer is right here. Is number 12. 12 says 12x squared minus 25x plus 12. Okay, this one, when I multiply, I'm looking for the factors of 144 that are going to give me 25. For this one, I'm going to do that little thing again, do the 12 and the 12. Now, you can either do like 3 and 4 or 2 and 6 to see which one we can come up with here. So if I do these two, I get 9 and 16. 9 and 16 are going to work. So negative 9, negative 16. So again, write 12x minus 9, 12x minus 16. So we're writing this with one of each of these. And again, we have to try to simplify. So I can divide both of these by 3. This becomes 4x minus 3. And this one, same thing, by 4. And it becomes 3x minus 4. And you're done. Again, you should FOIL it, double check that it goes back, and it does. Okay, now we're going to do another example now where c is negative. So we have 10x squared plus 13x minus 9. So again, multiply. This time I'm looking for the factors of negative 90. This tells me that in my binomials here, I'm going to have 1 plus sign and 1 minus sign. So I need to find two numbers that'll multiply to give me 13 with opposite signs. So let's see if we do 10 and 9 and start a factor tree here. Okay, so we're actually going to make 3 of these. So we're going to do 18 and negative 5. So I'll put 18 here, negative 5 here. Divide both of these by 2. This becomes 5x plus 9. Over here, divide them both by 5 and get 2x minus 1. And you're done. If you FOIL it, it does go back. Okay, next one you wanted to see was number 16. Number 16 from the worksheet is 4x squared minus 9x minus 9. Factors of negative 36 that are going to give me negative 9. So again, we know that in the binomials, one will be plus, one will be minus. So what two numbers or factors of 36 will give me a negative 9? That one. So positive 3, negative 12. So put 3 here, 12 here. This one doesn't need to be simplified. Just write it. This one I can divide them both by 4. So I get x minus 3. If you FOIL it, it does go back. It gives negative 12 plus 3, and I get negative 9. Number 18. Is 6x squared minus 7x minus 20. Gonna multiply. I'm looking for the factors of negative 120 that are gonna give me negative 7. So 6x, one's plus, 6x, one's minus. So I'm gonna sit here and try my little tree trick. And I get 2 and 3. I could do 4 and 5. And do we have a combination here? Okay, so for this one, I'm going to do 15 and 8. So 15 and 8, and the 15 is negative. So 15 here, 8 goes here. Divide by 2. 3x plus 4. Over here. Divide by 3, and I get 2x minus 5. And again, you should FOIL it, should be able to go back to the beginning, and it will. Or on the quiz, you will have a question just like the one I'm about to do, which is number 19. Number 19, we have a negative number in front of our x squared term. We want to factor only positive x squared terms. So in order to make this become positive, I am going to divide out a GCF of negative 1. And you write it out front. This is going to cause all of the signs to flip to opposite of what they are. Now the process will be the same as what I did before. I'm still going to multiply 5 times 27. And I'm actually going to factor that. Well, I'll multiply it and see what number we're going to deal with. 5 times 27 is going to give me 135. So I'm looking for two numbers that will multiply to give me 135, but who will add to give me 48. So let's try and do the tree. Maybe that'll help us find it a little faster. 3 and 9 and 5. So let's see which one will give me 48. What if I do 45 times 3? Let's try 45 times 3. 5, 1, 135. That is going to be my factors. So notice how I got it. I saw that the 9 and 5 could be multiplied and then times the 3. So again, you're going to have the -1 hanging out outside waiting to be just kept dropped down. Then put a 5x, put one of the terms, 45. Then put a 5x again, and then put the 3. Divide both of these by 5. X plus 9. And over here, you can't divide it by anything. And that's your final answer. So a -1 outside the whole front. And that is it. Let's try one more with the negative number. And then you can go ahead and start working on your homework that you have over the weekend, which is practice B. So last one, number 20. Again, we're going to make the x squared term positive by dividing out a GCF of -1. So divide -1 on everything. 6x squared minus 11x plus 4. Factors of 24. That will give me -11. And we did this, I think, yesterday. It's going to be -8, -3. So again, 6x minus 3 and the 6x minus 8. Notice the 6x minus 3 can't break down. Oh, it can. It can be divided by 3. Oops. Divide by 3, divide by 3. So I get 2x minus 1. Over here I can divide these by 2 and get 3x minus 4. And you're done. Any questions on this new method? It is a lot less work, but don't get confused with the factor by grouping. When you take the quiz next week, you're going to have to show me how you did one of these methods. Okay? And you're going to have to show all the work in order to get credit. I highly recommend you foil everything. I'm not going to require you foiling your answers over the weekend, but it'll be a way that you can check your answers. So you can go ahead and start your practice B. There's 20-something questions to it. If you get stuck and you need help, come on over and ask. And that's it.